Hi, and welcome to the SEO podcast, Unknown Secrets of Internet Marketing.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another fun-filled Friday of the Unknown Secrets of SEO.
This is podcast number 103. As always, we want to talk about what we mentioned in the previous podcast, and we have a tip from the previous podcast, which is give your website a speed test. That was a good tip. Oh, great question. Almost prompted. pagespeed.googlelabs.com, and you can type in your website and get the speed of your website. I am absolutely excited today. We got reviews, we got Facebook interaction, we've got articles in Fast Company, we've got articles, industrial social media articles. This is absolutely amazing. Remember, you are listening to the most popular SEO podcast on iTunes. That is because of you. We really appreciate you guys listening. And speaking of reviews, we really appreciate it when you go, I don't know, say for instance, onto iTunes and, I don't know, maybe create an account and then submit a review. We really like that. It's really good, and I'm about to read a review here shortly. Remember, you can follow us. You can stalk us. That's what we usually say. At facebook.com/ewebstyle and twitter.com/ewebstyle, youtube.com/ewebstyle. You can actually listen and watch to this podcast live at 9:20-ish Central Standard Time. The way to get to that is you can just go to our homepage, e-webstyle.com, and then click on the podcast, or you can actually go to e-webstyle.com/SEO podcast, and that'll take you to one of our pages. You scroll down a little bit. There is the little video thing, the interface for watching the video, so you can see it there. You can also see archives right under that little video box is an archive button, so you can actually go see us immediately. I had conversations. I actually had two people call me this week to try and sell me something, and I think I turned them into podcast listeners.
Oh yeah, that's what's up.
One of them was trying to sell me SEO, and I'm like,
did you look at my website first?
Do you know who I am? And he said no.
Oh, that's what's up. That's what's up.
That was pretty cool though, because
cool just to say that to somebody.
Yeah, you know who I am. You should, because there's an implication, right? When you say that, He's like,
well, it's one thing to say it, but it's one thing to say it and actually expect them to say yes. Because I can say that say it all day to my friends.
I've been saying that for years. Everyone keeps saying no.
I never actually expected them to say it. Say yes.
A little bit about news. That's our old podcast, 102, 103. Oh, by the way, we added a survey on Facebook. There's a thing called questions. We added a question. I wanted to get a feel for our podcast listeners. Do they do? And I gave 4 choices. Mm-hmm. I couldn't think. At first, as I was thinking about this, I was like, what is your business? Like, when you're doing SEO and the reason you're listening to this is for SEO, what are you focusing on? Mm-hmm. And I was going to, whatever products, and I thought the best way to ask this question and then get answers was, are you B2B, product or service? Are you B2C, product or service? Of course, that's business to business. Are you making sales to other businesses? Are you business to consumer? Are you making sales directly? Retail sales is a great example. And is it product or service? So we've got a couple of people. Our regulars have already gone out there and answered. Thank you very much, Dean and Darren. And 2 Ds.
Yeah,
maybe all our regular listeners need to start with D.
2 Ds for a double dose of their pimping.
Yeah, I got some bad news for you, Paul. And not just that was lame. Cisco canceled the flip phone.
Yeah, it sucks, man.
Not phone, camera.
The flip
phone has been canceled.
Because that was my Christmas gift to myself, which
last Christmas.
Yeah, which never happened, and good old boy procrastination stepped in the door, and now I'm out of flip camera.
That you never had.
Yes.
That's reported stolen. Mozilla is actually pushing to change the certification baseline process. So, yeah. So when you get an SSL certificate, right, and that's when you go to HTTPS right? So you're on a secure certificate, and actually all interactions between the browser and the server are encrypted. There's a process for getting that SSL certificate. Depending on which certificate it is, sometimes it's as involved as you have to send in your corporation paperwork, you have to send in your DBA paperwork or something. Others are as simple as they call you on a number that's registered at with the domain name. And that's one of the certificates that we use. Apparently, that process is not hardy enough, and so some people are having SSL certificates, and they're still able to scam people. So they want to improve the actual hoops that you have to increase the hoops you have to jump through in order to get an SSL certificate.
So it's like
that
a blood
Mozilla, exactly. So I think it's probably a good idea because
you can never be too secure.
Exactly. I think it's good.
Because as they're working on this, somebody else is working on how to crack it.
Yeah, exactly. So I got this article from Fast Company, and it was really interesting. It's about here's the magazine for you guys who are actually watching. Why Larry Loves Google and 7 Secrets of the All-Grown-Up CEO. Yeah, Larry Page.
I have never seen him before.
There you go.
Man, more people know who Matt Cutts is than Larry Page.
Exactly, that's true. And one of the things that they did in here that I love, it talked about how Google's very data-focused, data-centric. And one of the things I loved in here is they actually took, and apparently this is available on YouTube, they actually took some cameras into Times Square, and they asked people, what is a web browser?
And I'd probably say that
what do you think
over 50% of them got it wrong.
I'm not even sure that many got it right.
I'd say that at least 5% said Google.
One dude said a browser's a search engine. Another one is it's what I search through, like to find things. Mm-hmm. It's Google, right? And then the article really went in. It was pretty interesting because it went in and talked about how why does Google bother to make a browser, right? If Google's name is synonymous with a browser, and the IE6 browser is a piece of crap, then Google's name is synonymous with a piece of crap.
I'd say 6, 7, 8, and 9.
Yeah. Well, we just started using 9, and I'm the only one in the office who does. Yeah. Because I'm the one who drew the short straw. Who has to stay on IE so we can make sure our websites look good?
That's a good question. Why? If you're like Hoover. Because here in England they say, or in other countries they say Hoover the floor instead of vacuum the floor.
Right.
So if you are the Hoover, why do you need to create a better?
Wow, that was very international, Paul.
Somebody overseas told me that.
That's awesome. Well, I assume that. It's in your vast experience in England, dreaming last night, which actually got it correct because they were hoovering the floor.
Yeah. So why make a better vacuum if you are Hoover?
Yeah.
Why make a better search engine?
And in this case, it's a great. I mean, it's awesome. In this case, the research showed that people assumed the browser was Google, and that's great for Google unless the browser's crappy.
Yeah.
So then people will start to. So interestingly enough, Google made Chrome not necessarily to try and take over that market, but so that they could push the envelope. Now IE's hopped from 6 to 7 to 8 to 9 pretty quickly. And they've included a lot of the products and a lot of the speed and everything that Chrome had done just to keep up to stay ahead of it. So,
like you learned in economics, diversity is good. It's good. Competition is good. It increases the bar for everybody involved. So if people know there's a better product and they want the product, and now that creates demand for a better product.
I wonder if maybe we should make a eWeb style places.
We don't have
to increase the bar for Google. We'll actually offer customer service.
Oh, our own places. That means we got to start
a lot
search
of
engine.
I'll have it ready on Monday.
Yeah, okay. That'll work.
All right, we got our review again. We're always excited when we get reviews, although I don't understand why Ricardo gave us 4 stars. I'm a little disappointed. And then you read this. Here it is. Okay, guys, I've been listening and was begging for better audio, and I guess you guys worked on that. It is not the best still, but it's getting there. Thanks. Oh, maybe that's why we got that 1 star short. Hey, really, I think the star should be on the quality of the content, not the audio, but that's just my own opinion because our content's great, our audio sucks. Okay, now everyone out there, SEO does not have to be boring, so I recommend these guys with a big cup of coffee, and you will learn and laugh. So watch them and listen, or they might punch you in the face.
That's what's up, Ricardo.
Hey, only if you're lucky.
How about
Only if you're lucky will
I'm gonna
punch you in the face
for that star you missed.
Yeah, I'm sure it was an accident. He slipped off.
That's very cool though. Thanks a lot.
Maybe he was in a lame browser. Oh, it was iTunes. We also got a couple other people hitting us up on Facebook. Make sure you go check out our Facebook page. Remember, there is a question out there. Let us know what you guys as listeners are doing, B2B, B2C, whatever. This one is Demiso Lockhart. What's up, fellas?
What's up?
That's how he's. What's up?
That's cool. That's how I text it to you.
I stumbled across your podcast from a simple Google search. Of course, that's what we do. And have been hooked ever since. I just finished college for internet marketing, started working for myinsuranceexpert.com as an SEO analyst. I love listening to your podcast because not only is it filled with important facts and news, but you present it in an entertaining way, unlike all of the schooling that you just finished. Yeah. Now when I'm vetting links, I have something educational and interesting to listen to. Keep up with the good work. P.S. And now I didn't get this one. P.S. Tell Chuck he was wrong for saying he would stump on your domain name.
He would stomp on our... I don't know.
Anyway.
I don't know. We would tell Chuck, but shout out to Chuck, at Mo, Serious at Chuck.
Chuck wasn't not able to be with us today, nor was at Mo Serious.
Yes, they are in Oklahoma. So at Chuck, I know you're listening. No, you're probably asleep because he drove all night to Oklahoma. So clarify that because I'm not sure what exactly he means by that.
Yeah, me either. I don't know. And then Gareth Perkin, hey guys, love the podcast. I'm just finishing web design and development study in a few weeks. My family owns a clothing company and I will be building a few sites really soon. Just wondering if you have any hot tips for the e-com side. Yeah, don't use Joomla.
Yeah.
And what do you think about HTML5? I'm not sure about it, given the HTML5 tags having to be noted in the head via JavaScript to talk to the CSS. And given how many IE users don't allow JavaScript, we actually find that we use JavaScript on a lot of stuff. So we really do design our websites assuming that people leave JavaScript on. He's in New Zealand.
That's what's up.
Yeah, in Auckland, New Zealand. Maybe in New Zealand people don't use JavaScript because they're afraid of the man or something.
That's what I know about HTML5. It's a step up from version 4.
And it has video.
End of story. Yeah.
They can do video too.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah. So it's gonna have some cool stuff to it. All right, meat and potatoes. Let's get to the meat and potatoes of this. We got this article from Global Spec. Actually, one of our Facebook guys, I think, sent
Global
it to
Spec.
me.
I thought, does Global Spec follow us on Facebook?
I don't know. They did some freaky stuff. Anyway, a punch in the face to Capel States. Hopefully he's listening today.
Yes.
That is his name, Capel, and then last name States. We had a great conversation. They put out a number of these articles. There's another one about what industrial marketers should know about SEO. I kind of glanced through that. It was actually pretty good. It was kind of like our SEO 101 podcast. Both 101, never mind.
They stole our stuff.
Yes, because we hide it.
Yeah.
We're always hiding our stuff, and people sneak in and steal it from us.
I'm sure Matt Cutts is watching this like, Speed Labs, y'all stole our stuff.
So the title was Social Media Use in the Industrial Sector. And it's a really good article. Again, I had a great conversation with Koppel.
It is a really good article. When you first brought it up, I was like, industrial sector, why?
Well, and this is kind of what prompted me to put that question on Facebook, right? I mean, how many people who listen to our podcast are in the industrial sector? I did fire off a question to Dean Calhoun because he's definitely in the industrial sector, and asking him, there's some basic things that they talk about in this article that we're going to get into, and I was asking him, does he have any input? He didn't get either. He got back to me in a manner that I didn't find in time for the podcast, or he didn't get back to me.
Because it's probably on his social media, because Dean is like so heavy on his social media. That's a great example.
right? Yeah, and I wanted to get some input because I know, and maybe some of his feedback from his experience because he made an app, and so how is that app panning out and helping him in industrial marketing?
For those of you who don't know, Dean Calhoun is a podcast listener. He and Darren have been with us for 2 years plus.
Almost day one, right?
Yeah, and he's part of Agility Solutions based out of, I believe, Denver, Colorado, and they do environmental health and safety. I'm not sure if it's services or regulations.
Services.
Yeah, so that's a very industrial.
We'll say
sector.
Regulation services.
Okay, yeah, that works. That's in the industrial sector. And I remember thinking when we first got to know Dean, I was like, man, this guy's pretty good on social media. Why is he doing this? Is
he's ahead of the curve to be sure.
Very ahead of the curve. So I was like, man, why do these guys? Why do a bunch of nerdy engineers? What do they have to do with like SEO and social media? But who does not see the value? Every industry can see the value of SEO and social media, and this is proof that it does. Because I kind of questioned it at first, and I read it, and I was like, man, this is a great article, and it makes some really good points that not only apply to the industrial sector, but to every sector.
Yeah, absolutely. And they do some really good research in the process of putting these articles together. So, one of the questions that they asked is, which of the following social media beasts are restricted from use at your work PC? And they had Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, and then other, which I would assume would be like Delicious or I don't even know what that
Stumbled
would be.
and
I know. So we're an IT company for a couple companies here in town, and we restrict all of these actually, because most of them don't need access to any of these. But most people actually were restricted from Facebook. Well, no, this is interesting. Yeah, they were restricted from Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. YouTube is a bandwidth hog. Twitter, one could argue, is a waste of time. At Chuck Wooden.
I thought it was a waste of time.
Are you using your Twitter account yet?
A little bit. Okay. I tweeted once this week.
Was it really interesting?
No.
Okay.
No.
We won't even.
I don't know what it was.
Do you know what your Twitter account is?
I do. At Paul E. Hansen.
At Paul E. Hansen. And then LinkedIn was only 35% were restricted. So one of the summaries of this article, as you'll find out, is that LinkedIn is really the place to be in terms of industrial.
And I think LinkedIn is like the professional
side of
it's
social.
Like, here's a great example. It's like
we'll see.
It's a great example. Let me see if I can
verbalize.
Yes, if I can articulate this. LinkedIn is like the Facebook of social media as compared to MySpace.
Right.
MySpace came out. MySpace came out, and you got chicks like in front of the mirror with their thong on, and
the good old days.
Yeah, and you can't really promote that
for your business.
Yeah, but
you have a nice professional business Facebook page, and they click one link, and there's a chick in a thong.
And a thong, with her camera phone on in front of her bathroom. So LinkedIn, I think, is a great social media tool, but it's a professional social media or social media tool for professionals. One thing that I noticed about that article is that most people have Facebook. Yeah, AC would be great. Most people have Facebook restricted from their from their work. Okay, and I was like, okay, yeah, that probably makes sense. You don't want people jerking around on Facebook all the time. But then I thought about it. Let's say you are Agility Solutions, and you have a Facebook page, and you put out good quality content. But now I can't see. I'm an engineer that needs that stuff, but I can't see it now. So now I started to think, okay, well, yeah, people are going to jerk around on Facebook, but now you're restricting them from seeing possibly valuable content that I might get something from you. I may have went to your Facebook page and signed up for a seminar that you were holding, a webinar, got a good piece of content, downloaded an artitle. So, it's kind of they're kind of butting heads.
It's a fine line,
it's
right?
A very fine line.
Because it'd be nice if there were some way maybe to restrict access to posting and doing. I don't even know what to do, but to restrict access to your personal account, but allow access to the Facebook to the Facebook in general. For instance, like if Dean is putting out some good content on his Facebook page, and actually this is probably a consideration that Dean has made. Do I only put content on Facebook? If a lot of industrial people don't have access to Facebook from their office, then I've got to put content not just on Facebook. I've got to put it on other places that they would have access to. So it'd be interesting if there's a way to kind of lock people out of their personal, but allow them to still get into Facebook in case there's content or seminars that they want to sign up for,
and that
or
that brings up a good point that was in that article that talks about you need to think about how your target audience utilizes social media. Okay, so and this is that chart was from the industrial sector. If 80%, was it 80%? If 80% of your 70% of the people that you're targeting
don't have access to
are
Facebook.
restricted to it, okay, you need to put that you need to remember that when you're creating your strategy.
Yep.
Am I saying no, don't create a Facebook page? No, of course not, because people do go home, and some people actually do work at home. I know Dean does. I got an email from Dean like 1 a.m. about a year ago. Like, what are you doing up, fool?
Working.
So think about that. Think about how your target audience utilizes social media. So that was a great point. Something and to me that's a point everybody needs to take into account. How do people use that? This is just the last.
Okay.
The last couple.
Well,
pages.
yeah, okay. So the next question we've got here is LinkedIn usage, and how many people actually have a LinkedIn account? And it was 63%. It would have been nice if they had asked Facebook, right? Because that's kind of the number one.
And to me, LinkedIn is still like I don't want to say the redheaded stepchild, but it's like the forgotten social media.
Well, because it's professional. It's not fun.
Because there's no chicks in their bathroom with thongs on and the camera phone.
It's not fun. You don't be like, I'm bored. Let me go on LinkedIn.
Yeah. Let me see what's happening on LinkedIn today.
It's like, hey, I feel like I need to do some networking and be productive, and I want to be on the computer.
Mm-hmm.
Let me go on LinkedIn. So
you're right.
That makes sense.
You're right. It's only going to get so fun, and I think LinkedIn is doing a good job of bringing in, like, I'm not sure if widgets are the right term, but in
Twitter feeds and
because you have your Twitter feed on your LinkedIn profile, and you have all yours like Twitter.
Yeah, I think our
Facebook, everything.
Even our blog is tied in there somehow.
So I think they're doing a good job of kind of getting up to speed and making.
Well, they did ask about Facebook usage.
Okay. Next
page. Sorry, Koppel, I didn't get to that part. So do you have a Facebook account? And the answer was 59% yes. Do you have a Twitter account?
I'd say very little.
Yeah, 15% yes. So, and this is again in the industrial sector. So if you're marketing to industrial sector people, Twitter is not, again, Dean, stay ahead of the curve. There's not a problem with that, especially when you've got your Facebook and Twitter accounts are tied together. So whatever you put on Facebook ends up on Twitter. But, don't lose any sleep because you don't have a Twitter account. Because you use your Twitter account like Paul does.
Yeah. I forgot if Chuck said something good and I retweeted.
That's what it's all about. It's retweeting.
Which other people, which 10 years ago they used to call copyright infringement. Now it's just a retweet. So to go back to what I just said, you need to consider. When you're thinking about which channels of social media to use, consider how your target audience uses them. If you are in the industrial sector, I'd say number one, LinkedIn. You need to be on LinkedIn. 63%? 60-something percent.
Yep. 63%?
63% use LinkedIn, and then 50-something percent use Facebook, and then like 3 people use use Twitter. Yeah, 3 people in the industrial sector use Twitter. So
it's over half use Facebook. Now the question though is this a Facebook business account or is this like a personal account?
Okay, that is a good.
Because that makes a big difference.
I'd say I would go as far as to say that
it's all personal.
It's personal.
Yeah.
Because
it does mean that they're on Facebook. It means they know how to use it. It means that if a Facebook link were to come up in a search result,
they would
know how to get on there and be comfortable reading it and poking around. And if you, heaven forbid, didn't put your company information in the initial article, they would at least be able to find it on Facebook, those kinds of things.
And it's just, if nothing else, it's an extra way for someone to find it. They Google e-web style, and they're just retarded and can't spell. And I probably shouldn't use that word. But
no, you told me it was acceptable.
Yeah, it was accepted.
We'll pretend we're in Michigan.
And so if they're retarded and live in Michigan, and they can't spell,
isn't that rhetorical?
Yeah. Pretty much. Sorry, all y'all.
Oh yeah, our listeners and our tons of listeners in Michigan.
So they can't find you. They can't find your website. They might find your Twitter. They might find your Facebook. They might find your LinkedIn. You know, at the absolute minimum, you're creating another avenue for them to be able to find you. So you remember that LinkedIn first, Facebook next, and then Twitter. And you know, and here's what I'd say. I know that how many people use Facebook. That's got to be personal, because let's look at our client base. How much of our client base uses have professional Facebook pages? Even though we harp on this, what's y'all's problem? Y'all need a Facebook page. Y'all need a Facebook page. You know, most of our, all of our clients have websites, but I'd probably say maybe less than half have a Facebook page.
For like a product business page.
Yeah, have a professional.
I'm sure they have
Facebook page.
if they don't have a personal one, then they must be
but
from Michigan.
We won't even deal with them. Like, no. Bye. So I think that people are still kind of getting up to speed.
Well, and it's a tough one. It's one of the that's one of the services that we offer. Because do you want to go out there and make a product page? And we're not harping on you, but if you make a business or product page, that's what they're called on Facebook. And you're not putting any content on it, then and you're not going to, then maybe you don't want to bother right now.
You're right.
Hire us, because we actually have a service, because we realize the value isn't just in creating the page, it's actually in putting out relevant content on a regular basis. And so we actually have a service where we'll create relevant content for you, and we'll post that content both to your Facebook and your Twitter page. That's our kind of social media package.
Have we discussed that before? Or is that the first time?
This is probably the first time we've mentioned it.
So not only do we do websites,
oh yeah,
we do social media.
We do social media
as well, because we talk about this stuff all the time, but I forget. Like, do we talk about this on the podcast? Because we know it in house, but
the last thing we want is another listener to come back and go, "You do social?"
Yeah, I just paid some other guy $1 million to do it. I would have done it to you guys first.
Oh, that sucks.
Here's a question. What about video?
How many people watch video, or is that?
I think video marketing is in the general internet marketing world and SEO world, video is becoming the big thing. Everyone has video. If you got a website, you gotta have video on it. Viral videos are huge. It's becoming, I guess, like, I don't want to say the new thing, but it's hot. Videos are hot right now.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and they have been a while. I mean, it's been growing and growing, and it's funny. It's interesting. I don't know if you mentioned that on purpose because you're a genius. We'll go with that.
Yeah, I was just next. I have my video was right here.
It asks frequency of social media participation, and the number one thing that people participate in social media is watch a video.
Okay.
And of course, in the industrial sector, it can be a great way to do training. Any sort of industrial training. I know, like OSHA type training includes some sort of video, so that could be moving online.
I go all the time. I follow a couple different Google products on Twitter, and Matt Cutts will post videos about one of the things we talked about last time, copyright infringement online. I got that from a Twitter link. It was a video that was posted on his Twitter account.
That would have been a copyright infringed tweet.
Yeah.
Sending him to a copyright infringement video.
So as a perfect example, he tweeted something. I went, he's a respected guy in the industry. I trust him. I clicked on it. It was a video, and I learned something. I learned about, hey, if somebody's stealing from you, here's a way to combat that. So that's a perfect example of how to use your video and Twitter, to increase the knowledge about your company. Videos are a great way to do it. Training. I'm not sure if you want to have a viral video for environmental health and safety. I'm not.
Because it's all going to be ugly.
I'm not sure how sexy. Yeah, I'm not sure how sexy that would or appealing that would even be. But I used to say that about SEO. And when we started this, SEO wasn't very sexy. I think SEO is becoming.
It's the new Vogue.
There you go. That'll work. It's the new black out, but people say it's the new black lingerie. How about that?
Yeah. Or
that makes absolutely
it's the new black
no
bikini.
Sense. Yeah.
It's the new Facebook thong.
That's what's up.
That's not a catch line we'll be repeating. Interesting. Value of resources for researching work-related purchases. Of course, general search engines was number one. I thought this was interesting, and of course, because it's a global spec article, and I just want to give a little bit more of a punch in the face to couple. Globalspec.com was mentioned here as number 4 in this one. Other ones were online catalogs, supplier website, then word of mouth.
And here's something I have on my list. This was like the forgotten, and you could say this the godfather of all social media, and probably a forgotten form of social media. What about blogs?
Oh yeah.
Because blogs are kind of like the introduction to social media.
Yeah.
Kinda.
Yeah, it's kind of the first way that you interacted regularly.
Yeah. So what about blogs? Do you have a blog incorporated in your internet marketing strategy? For those of you who just crawled out from under a rock, Google loves blogs. Google loves our blog.
Yeah.
Google loves us.
Yeah.
Google loves me.
Yeah. And that dude that we never saw before.
Yeah. So think about that. Is a blog in your? I think a blog would be. I personally think a blog would be phenomenal for the industrial sector.
Yeah.
Because I'd say that people in that sector are a little more
conservative. They want to just read information.
I don't want to say nerdy, but I was like, they read a lot. These are very technical people. You're an engineer. You love to read.
I read like
all the time,
constantly. Yeah.
So I think a blog would be a great place if you're in the industrial sector and a blog needs to be in your future. If you don't have one, you need to get one yesterday.
And I learned this in a course that I took called Guerrilla Business School. It's actually a really good course. It was a weekend. It was a lot of information. We were running like 14-hour days. It was really good. One of the things that they stressed in
was it jail?
Yeah. It felt like it at times. But there were no showers.
Yeah.
The thing that they stressed in there was become a world-class expert at what you do.
Mm-hmm.
And we've kind of I don't think it's actually that hard to become a world-class expert. You just need to read constantly on your subject matter and have some reasonable retention. And but then the next step is, okay, now that I feel I'm a world-class expert at what I do, how do I kind of express that to people? And for us, we've chosen the podcast for a number of reasons. It's a great way to give back.
But even before we did that, we had a blog.
Yeah. And we were posting on the blog regularly. So it really is, the blog is a good way to become recognized as an industry leader. And, when you're an industry leader, it really helps your marketing significantly. In this case, Global Spec is clearly an industry leader because they're putting out these high-quality articles. And, it's a way for them to present themselves as an industry leader. So you lean to them when you're looking to do the marketing and you're in the industrial sector. So really, really, really a great article. Did we have any more kind of summary information?
Yeah, a couple other things. One more thing I got out of this article says you want to consider developing an online community to interact with your customers and prospects. Kind of related to, I'm kind of thinking like blog, forum-y. Again, a forum, another like godfather of social media, another way to interact with your.
It's actually the number one social thing listed in here.
Forums?
Like a forum or interacting with customers. Forum.
Okay.
Yeah.
So again, take into account what I pulled from this article. Take into account who you're marketing to and how they use social media. If you're in the industrial sector, they're probably really technical. They probably want to read. You probably should have a blog.
They probably will respect you if you're an expert in the industry. The stuff you put out needs to be accurate.
Yeah.
Make sure you're doing good at editing. And not just guessing. Everything we do here, we double check. I would like to say we triple check, but that's on Thursdays.
Yeah. And it's Friday.
And it's Friday morning. But we always double check stuff. We don't want to just be putting out information that we haven't gotten from a good source.
Yeah. So think about how those people use what you do, and also I had a great point, and it just here's another thing that I would say. Don't run out. Okay, and we talk social media a lot, and SEO and all these different things. Okay, you're an industrial guy. This is your very first podcast you ever listened to. I would not recommend pulling money from your marketing budget, and that's what this article says. Don't pull money from your
marketing budget
current
to
marketing
do
budget.
social.
And yeah, don't cut half it out to jump in the social game. This should be in addition to what you're currently doing. Now, for the most part, social media is free. If you're going to do it yourself, which is very time consuming, it's going to be free. But also remember, there is a serious learning curve. Everyone uses Facebook for their personal account, and Facebook, I'd say, for your personal account is closely related, but not the same as Facebook for your business.
Yeah.
Because you want something else. You want people to like you and to like your page. You want them to comment. You want them to. You're trying to get someone to.
As opposed
purchase.
to your personal one where you just want people to leave you alone.
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna post this. I hope no one
reads it.
No one. Yeah.
If you comment on it, I'll kill you.
Yeah.
I really will punch you in the face.
Everyone knows you need to be a little bit more professional on your business page, but you're actually trying to get someone to take action, to call you, to download your white paper.
Interact in some way. Yeah.
Yeah, and you want. Let's face it. Why do you do social media? To increase your exposure and hopefully gain some business from it. So even though they are closely related, take that into consideration. But don't run out there and just pull from your other budget. Add to it.
Yeah.
And listen, this is a lot of stuff to do. And I say this all the time. We talk about SEO, PPC, email marketing,
newsletters, blogs,
banner ads, Facebook, Twitter,
remarketing,
YouTube. Seriously, if you have time to do all of this,
then you're probably
unemployed.
You're only doing marketing. Then you're just the marketer for a company.
There you go.
All you do is marketing.
There you go. Some people do have time to do all of this. If you don't, consider hiring a professional company.
Because we do have time to do all of that.
Yes, because we're a bunch of nerds that sit around and like this kind of stuff all day.
Figure out how we can do that better.
Yeah. So, consider that. Or maybe you can do your own Facebook page and your Twitter page, but you need someone to do your SEO. Or you need someone to help with your brand management or this. That's a lot to take in. And if you're doing your own, you're trying to do your own marketing and run your business, that's, you got to think about, hey, where's my time? You always say this. Where's your time most
valuably spent?
Yes.
Yeah. And going back to this, I'm going to have to hit you hard on this. Punch in the face.
Okay.
Social's not free, right? Because it distracts you from other things you could be doing.
Okay.
So just be mindful of that. It's, if I'm going to spend an hour doing social today, is there, that hour on social needs to be more valuable than the hour on customer service or on whatever it may be. And so
or sales,
whether it's cold calling, follow up, maybe checking in with your customers to make sure that service has been good, or those customers that were on the fence. All of those things typically in a business can be more valuable than you spending an hour on social. So it's something. Don't take it lightly. Take it as it's something you really need to think about, and consider hiring a company to take care of those aspects for you. If it's not us, then who?
Yeah, really. If it's not us, then don't.
Or then
don't at all.
Then boo.
Yeah. Here's a great line I got from the conclusion of the article. It says, now, while social media participation in the industrial sector is low, it is beginning to increase. Supplier, everyone in this sector, everyone in general, needs to become familiar with social media tools and incorporate it into your overall marketing strategy. A couple tips from what we just covered. You need to know, to what extent does your target audience participate in social media, and which platforms they use the most often. What are your organization's goals for implementing a social media campaign? What resources, including people, time, and your budget, do you have available to invest in this? How are you going to integrate this social media into your strategy? And how will you define success and measure the return on your investment of your social media strategy?
Hey, that kind of sounds like our don't throw money against the wall and see if it sticks.
Yes. Yeah, don't throw money against the wall and, have a plan. You'd be amazed at how many people just jump into SEO, PPC, social media, remarketing, and just like
let's see if this works.
Have no idea. Yeah, let's see. What are you looking to do? I want to increase traffic. Okay, by how much? By using what? Or how much would you consider a success? 1%, 2%, 0.5%, 1,000
Yeah,
visitors?
that sounds good.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what we get. Yeah, that's a 1 or 2 or 10, whatever you say.
Yeah. So think about all those things, and remember, don't take money from your other budget add to it. Remember, there is a learning curve, as with everything. So if you don't have time to stick it out and until you're on the other end of the curve, you might want to consider hiring a professional.
Yep, absolutely.
Us can't see us. I'm waving my hand. Us.
He is waving his
Yes.
hand. Hey, you know what we missed, Chuck? There is no blank stare news today.
Oh.
I did want to throw out something that I thought was pretty cool, which is the versions of Android are alphabetical. I just thought that was really cool. And by the way,
I didn't know that.
This article that I read, it describes how all the engineers at Android run out front once a month or once a quarter or something, because they'll deliver a big, huge sculpture of the latest version. So they've got a big cupcake for the first one, so that's like on the campus somewhere, and then they've got an eclair.
Was the first one?
Was the first one,
okay.
And then they've got an eclair. There, I don't know where B went, but and then
let's say Android was number one.
It's
Beta was two, maybe.
Yeah,
and
cupcake, donut, eclair, frozen yogurt.
Somebody's got a sweet tooth.
Yeah, gingerbread, and then honeycomb.
H. Yeah, I do know the English alphabet most days. H-I. Oh, we'll see what's up with that one.
We'll see what's I. It was ice cream.
Oh, you called it. You called it. That's pretty good.
Hey, I'm announcing the new version of Android.
Retweet.
It will be called Ice Cream.
I'm going to retweet on it. I'm co-signing on that. That's what's up. So, social media for the industrial sector, man. It's. I thought it was boring. It is a lot of good points that carry on to other.
Onto everything, actually. Yeah, I think it's great. You have been listening to the most popular SEO podcast on iTunes. Again, thank you guys for listening. You can find us, email us at podcast@e-webstyle.com, twitter.com/ewebstyle, facebook.com/ewebstyle, youtube.com/ewebstyle.
Shout out to @Chuck who couldn't make it. Shout out to all our podcast listeners all over the world, at New Zealand, at Denver, at Texas, at the UK, at somewhere in Africa, somewhere
By the way,
in
I
Central
think
America.
Yesterday we hit 1,000 downloads in one day.
That's what's up.
Yeah, of all of our podcasts, it was like 3 times normal. I don't know what happened.
It was crazy.
Awesome. About 1,000 downloads.
Wow.
Of all of our podcasts on one day. So, all right. Until the next podcast. My name is Chris Burris.
I'm Paul Hansen. Going to get the mail.
Bye bye for now.